Just before we start this video, be sure to stick around to the very end because there is some channel news you may want to hear. So stick around, enjoy the video. Dua Lipa blew up with her self-titled debut album in 2017. It's currently the biggest female and third most streamed album in Spotify history with over 8 billion streams, with hits such as Be The One, New Rules, and I Don't Give A, the two latter songs achieving over 1 billion streams each on Spotify. The album has since sold 6 million copies worldwide and led to her first 2 Grammy wins. Before the release of her current album Future Nostalgia, Dua achieved massive chart success all around the world, especially with her collaborations with Silk City, Blackpink, and Calvin Harris, which all ended up on her complete edition of her debut album. The album had a lot of mainstream pop hits with some other really good cuts such as Genesis and Garden, but it really did feel like a fun playlist more than a cohesive project. Her debut album catapulted her into mainstream success, and with her second album, she wanted to create something great, and that's where we have Future Nostalgia, an incredible dance pop album. Now, if you've seen my album review videos, you'll know how I feel about this album, but today we're going to talk about how did it become so successful? Where is the appeal? And before we answer that, let's take a look at some behind the scenes of the album before we look at the success. Future Nostalgia was worked on from January 2018 to November 2019, while she was still promoting her debut album and was on tour. The album was originally going to be called Glass House, but later renamed to Future Nostalgia, seeing as it was more fitting to the album. There were 50 to 60 songs written for the album, which included unreleased songs she did with Nile Rodgers, Mark Ronson, and Pharrell Williams, as well as collaborations with Normani, Miley Cyrus, and Ariana Grande. She worked backwards on this album. She figured out the title first, then figured out the sound and lyrical content to go along with it. The album has 2 sampled songs. Love Again samples My Woman, written by Bing Crosby, and Break My Heart samples Need You Tonight by NXS. The era started with the disco hit Don't Start Now, released on Halloween in 2019. The song was a massive success, despite some hesitation from her manager because the song was too different from what was on radio in America. He was reassured by his radio promotion executive that it was the kind of song that would change radio, and it basically did. The song hit the top 10 in 61 charts globally. It debuted at number 2 in the UK, becoming her biggest debut, and spent 25 weeks in the top 10, making it the longest by a British female artist of all time, and the longest top 10 hit ever without reaching number 1. It has since gone double platinum, selling 1.2 million copies. In the US, the song debuted at number 30 and has since peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. The triple platinum selling song has spent 20 weeks in the top 10, making it the longest lasting top 10 by a female artist this decade so far. The song currently holds 1.4 billion streams on Spotify alone and has become one of the biggest and most iconic songs of all time. In December 2019, she released the promo single, which was the album title track. The song continued the sound of the lead single, but was a lot more funky. The song didn't make any major chart impact due to the fact that it was released around Christmas, and it didn't hit a lot of charts, but it currently holds over 92 million streams on Spotify. The second single released from the album was Physical, released in January 2020, and it's my favorite single released from the album. The song is a lot more pop-based, but still has that disco sound the previous 2 songs had. The song saw huge success mainly around Europe. In the UK, it debuted in the top 20 and peaked at number 3, and it lasted for 24 weeks on the charts. The song is currently certified platinum, selling over 600,000 copies, and is nominated for Song of the Year at the Brit Awards. The final single released before the album was Break My Heart. This was released under unfortunate circumstances as the album had leaked, so the song was released on the 25th of March, 2 days before the album was. The song returned to a more funky disco sound, but with a more dance pop element. It debuted at number 6 in the UK chart, making Dua Lipa the first English female artist in almost 60 years to have a trio appear simultaneously in the top 10. The standard edition of the album produced 2 additional singles, Hallucinate and Levitating. Hallucinate achieved moderate success, likely hindered by the COVID-19 pandemic and didn't have any promotion. But Levitating is currently racing up the charts due to two major remixes, one released on the remix album featuring Madonna and Missy Elliott, and the other one being promoted with DaBaby. The song hit the top 5 in the UK and US and the top 10 on 26 charts globally. All the official singles achieved different levels of success. Don't Start Now was huge because it was something different and stood out there, and that's the same reason why all the songs on here were successful. They're cool, they're fresh, and also they're fun, which is what people want to listen to these days, especially with what's going on outside. Physical is a euphoric dance song to sing along to, and Break My Heart is a cool vibey song to bob along to. So curiosity played a major factor in the album's anticipation. Now, the album did leak before its release date, which likely hindered the album's opening week sales. However, it didn't hinder its everlasting impact. The album received widespread acclaim and was nominated for a Mercury Prize, 2 Grammy Awards including Album of the Year, and 1 Best Pop Vocal Album, and it's just been nominated for Album of the Year at the Brit Awards, which is a big deal. Entertainment Weekly said that Dua has established herself as one of pop's most compelling presences, and future nostalgia shows she's going to be sticking around for a while. The album reached the top 10 in every single country it charted in except for South Korea and Japan. In the US, the album debuted at number 4 with 66,000 copies sold in its first week, a significant improvement from her debut album, which peaked at number 27. However, the album did spend 97 weeks on the chart and has also gone platinum. The album is currently still charting in the top 100 on the Billboard 200, and following the release of the deluxe edition of the album, the Grammy win and Grammy performance, it reached a new peak of number 3. The album debuted at number 2 in the UK, behind 5 Seconds of Summer, by 550 sales, but the next week it climbed to number 1 and spent 4 weeks at the top. The album is currently on 34 weeks in the top 10 and has yet to drop out of the top 40 in its 54-week run, and has just been certified platinum. Dua Lipa is one of the biggest artists in pop music today, and she's released one of the biggest albums of 2020, and on her second album, which has a reputation of making or breaking an artist, as we have seen many times before in the past. But how did she do it? The answer to this question is simple. She did 2 very important things. Number 1, evolve, and number 2, won the public. There is a big contrast between her debut and her sophomore album. There is growth and even more maturity on Future Nostalgia that wasn't on her debut. Although she delivered a solid debut album, it lacked that charm and charisma and cohesiveness that Future Nostalgia has. It's less, here I am, look at me, and more, listen to me, I'm talking, shut up. Secondly, she won the public. Now, she was never hated by the public, but what I mean by this is she became more comfortable with her style, and that showed and made the audience feel more comfortable with her. She had a reputation for not having the best stage presence or dance moves, but with a new sound and new look, and from the feedback that she got, she went away and became a new Dua Lipa that had more confidence and more attitude. Not to say that she didn't have it before, but it's now fully out there instead of just peeking out from time to time. The term local is thrown around as an insult when artists are huge in their home country but don't have big crossover success. These terms are used on acts such as Rita Ora and Little Mix, which I think is completely false. And the term was used on Dua before, but certainly not now. She started out as quite the dark horse, but now is the life of pop music, bringing us fun in a sea of mellow and depressing stuff at the moment. Currently, Dua just released the Moonlight edition of Future Nostalgia, including 8 additional songs, including her collaborations with Miley Cyrus and J Balvin, as well as a few new songs like Fever and We're Good. Now, my thoughts on the deluxe edition are, it kind of does break that cohesiveness that the standard edition had. The only song I feel like that was on the deluxe that should have been on the original album was If It Ain't Me, which apparently was a collaboration with Normani, and I would have taken that song over Good in Bed or Boys Will Be Boys. I think it works really well. Additionally, she had a very successful virtual concert called Studio 2054, which had an estimated audience of 5 million people, which broke the record for the biggest attendance for a paid live stream. She released a remix album with the Blessed Madonna called Club Future Nostalgia, which included collaborations with Mark Ronson, Madonna, Missy Elliott, and Gwen Stefani, as well as a few unreleased songs that didn't make the original album. Dua Lipa really made an era during a really dark time in life, and in the future, this album will truly be nostalgic. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below what do you think of Dua Lipa, and did you enjoy her album? Now, I know I have been quite absent on this channel. It is not my fault, well, it kind of is. I've been very busy with uni work because I am a university student. I've been very busy with that, and I have been neglecting this channel. But hopefully not for much longer, since I'm at the finishing line. I'm almost done. So the next video should hopefully be up in May. The script is done for it. I'm not telling you what it is, but it's good. In the meantime, if you have an album you want me to review, below I have linked a website called Album of the Year where I review some albums on there. You can see what score I've given them, and recently I've been doing like really in-depth reviews, which I'll likely turn into a video soon. But if you want me to review one, just tell me what you want me to listen to below and I will review it on that site. Also, I now have a Spotify playlist, so I have on there the UK charts, and I'll be sure to add more playlists for you all to listen. Now, I have a few videos in the pipeline, but be sure to comment below what other videos you want to see from me, and I'll be sure to add them to the list. I will see you in the next one, hopefully soon. Bye.